Did you face any gender-related challenges to get to where you are now?
I think it's historically been quite difficult for women in policing. There have been a lot of changes now, more recently, to support women at work, none of which were available when I first joined back in the 90s. So I think it has been challenging, but very much more, I would say probably in the last 5 or 10 years, much more much easier for women to progress and achieve their ambitions at work.
Yes, at the beginning, 12 years ago, definitely. I was a supervisor at that time, working for a contractor. So we had various different contracts for various organisations. So I was the only female supervisor at that time, and every time we had to do training. So if we had to train on fire extinguisher, she won't be able to lift that fire extinguisher up. She won't be able to put that fire out quick enough. And if it was a driving, she's a woman, she can't drive. And if I did well, it was, because you're a woman, you're doing well. So at the beginning, it was a lot of challenges.
I don't think so, to be honest. I've always worked, other than a short periods, I've always worked in local government, and there's always been a lot of, well, certainly since I've been working in local government, which is a long time, there's always been a lot of women in senior legal roles. So it wasn't a particularly unusual role to move into. There were a lot of really good role models. I do remember going for an interview in the private sector, and I was sort of mid to late 20s, and I remember the interview, the guy who was interviewing me asking me, commenting on my age and asking me when I was going to have a baby and whether how I was going to do my job if I had a baby. So I was sort of shocked, and made a comment about, well, you couldn't ask that in local government, and he said, well, we're not in local government.
How have things changed for women in the workplace since you started work?
So some of the key things, it's been recognised for quite a while, particularly with regard to policing, that we haven't been that diverse as we should be in terms of representing the community, particularly for women. We were very underrepresented at senior ranks as well. So one of the key things that's changed is some positive action initiatives for women, and what that means is essentially additional support and opportunities to develop and help them with promotion and other areas of interest for them, to help them achieve their ambition, on the basis that sometimes women don't always want to step forward and sometimes don't have the confidence to progress their careers, whether that be because they've got skills gaps or perhaps for childcare reasons or other issues. So positive action is really supportive, and personally has been helpful for me, particularly before promotion processes, to help me progress. A number of other things, for example, flexible working. I mentioned earlier I'm a flexible worker myself, so I have one work-free day in the week, which is really important to me as a young mum with a toddler. But I think flexible working more generally is definitely a thing in the police now, more than it was before.
Now I think there's more women in responsive repairs department. I know myself that I've come across a lot of female tradeswomen as well, plumbers, electricians, carpenters. I feel that overall men have now realised that we equally can do their job too. I don't find that there's a difference between men and women, though sometimes I think I actually get a little bit more better treatment, as in if there's a nasty job, then obviously my line manager will always put the guy in there first, and then me second, kind of thing. So they do kind of look after women as well. So I think it's more of an equal balance at the moment.
There used to be a lot more sort of clerical jobs and admin jobs, secretarial jobs that tended to be, tended to be held by women. We still had a typing pool when I started work. So a lot of women were typists. We were encouraged at school to do typing because there was a sort of a natural path for us into secretarial work and typing. So I think that's changed a lot, and I think there obviously are a lot more women in managerial positions, and we don't just assume that women are going to go into the junior clerical jobs or the sort of typing jobs. Well, we don't have them anymore, thank goodness. So I think that's changed quite a bit.
Have you contributed to any changes to women's equality at work?
Yeah, so one of the main things that I'm involved in is supporting, mentoring, coaching women in the workplace. I think personally it's been really helpful for me throughout my career. So because I've benefited from it a lot, I'm sort of very keen to do the same for other women. Really keen as well around supporting flexible working where we can. Obviously we have to be mindful of our operational responsibilities and making sure that flexible working fits the requirements of an operational police officer, but wherever we can, I make sure we support flexible working and also the opportunity for officers to job share. So 2 officers job sharing one particular role, which is quite a new idea for the police, and helps us attract women on a part-time basis as well, where we might not have done before. Another thing I do also is support officers in their aims perhaps to achieve specialist roles that might have been previously underrepresented, so making sure that they have the opportunity to have attachments or insight into different areas of policing, because of course it's such a varied profession and there's so much opportunity available.
We've got a female electrician at the moment. I would like to get more female tradeswomen into the industry. I would like to promote a lot of female residents, because which we did in my previous job for Southern Housing, and we made a female, a resident became a plumber, and then now she's a surveyor for Southern Housing, which is an excellent journey. So yes, I think it's councils and housing associations promoting female into this industry would be great, especially residents. I think it'd be really nice to do that, and I do see it. We do talk about this when we have RA meetings, that we try and get more women involved.
I suppose one of the things is how we shape roles. In the past, I've been quite keen to develop sort of term time only jobs, because I think they're quite good jobs for people that have got caring children, caring responsibilities for children. Not necessarily women, but it does tend to be more women. So the sort of jobs where that you can be off in school holidays, or jobs that are in school hours, so it makes it appealing for people that have still got young children. So I think we could do more around that. I think also there's a lot in the news at the moment about getting sort of over 55s back into, or over 50s actually, back into the workplace. And it's a real valuable resource that we need to tap into, and I think a lot of women fall into that bracket because they might have had career breaks for all sorts of reasons, caring responsibilities and things like that. So getting them back into the workplace, lots of women that probably want to go back to a career in their 50s, and I think we should do more to encourage that as well.